All right, now let's go to the big news that happened last week. So last week, the Blackhawks fired head coach Luke Richardson. They hired Anders Sorensen as the new head coach. Of course, at that time, the Blackhawks are last in the league. They're still last in the league. They were 8-16-2 at the time Luke Richardson was fired. And as a Blackhawks fan, I was, happy for this because I thought maybe a new coach was needed, but also at the same time the team wasn't doing well, so I kind of had to think this over a bit. So of course, if you're a Blackhawks fan like myself, you will be happy that Luke Richardson was fired, but then you kind of had to think it over and say, well, maybe the team wasn't doing well, which was another reason why a coaching change was needed. Because you take a look at the Boston Bruins. I mean, they were 8-9-3 at the time Jim Montgomery was fired, and the Bruins weren't doing well. Jim Montgomery, he was a great head coach for Boston. And of course, the Bruins players, they were upset that he got fired, and now he's the coach of the Blues. And of course, the team wasn't doing well, which is why Don Sweeney had to fire him, and a new coach was needed. So it's the same thing with the Blackhawks. So of course the Blackhawks, like I said, last in the league, still last in the league, even after Anders Sorensen's coaching debut Saturday against the Jets. And the team, wasn't doing well. They were being inconsistent with the game and stuff. So yeah, but first game with Anders Sorensen behind the bench was against the Winnipeg Jets from Saturday. This was a afternoon game. This game came on at 3 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And fun fact, Anders Sorensen is the first Swedish-born coach in NHL history. There's never, ever been a Swedish-born coach in NHL history, so Anders Sorensen becomes the first one. Of course, the Blackhawks lost 4-2 to the Winnipeg Jets in Anders Sorensen's debut. Fifth straight loss for the Blackhawks, and then now 8-17-2 of the season. Mike Scheifele had the game-winning goal in the third period for that game. And for the Blackhawks, we saw two defensemen score for Chicago. Alex Martinez and Alex Vlasic got the goals for the Blackhawks. Of course, Alex Martinez and Peter Mrazek got injured in this game. So of course, Peter Mrazek is out with a groin injury. Alex Martinez is out with an injury as well. Don't know if it's upper body or lower body injury, but he's out nonetheless. And so Kevin Korchinski and Drew Commesso were called up from Rockford. Hopefully Peter Mrazek isn't out for too long because absolutely need him in that. And Arvis Soderblom, I mean, I gotta admit, last season I didn't really like him. I mean, he wasn't playing as well last season, but I feel like this season he's improved and he's improved, and now he's starting to play solid. He's starting to play well, but the problem is with the Blackhawks, they just have no defense. Two of the top defensemen are out, Seth Jones and Alex Martinez, so they have no defense, and the team has just been struggling as well. But I really liked how Arvis Soderblom has played this season, so not really worried too much as a Blackhawks fan, but hopefully Peter Mrazek isn't out for too long. And these were the Blackhawks lines that practiced Sunday, according to Charlie Romologist. Hopefully I pronounced that name right. I probably didn't. But first line, Philip Kurashev, Connor Bedard, Ilya Mikheyev. Second line, Taylor Hall, Ryan Donato, Tyler Bertuzzi. Third line, Nick Foligno, Jason Dickinson, Teuvo Teravainen. And fourth line, Patrick Maroon, Lucas Reichel, and Joe Yance. Now, suggestions to lines. One thing I would suggest, excuse me if I'm getting my words mixed up. One thing I would suggest is putting Connor Bedard with Philip Kurashev and Taylor Hall, or possibly with Teuvo Teravainen. Reason why I say this is because I think last season, of course, that was Connor Bedard's first season. I saw Connor Bedard creating good chemistry with Philip Kurashev. Maybe try that out again and see how it works. And then, of course, putting Connor Bedard with Taylor Hall. Of course, Taylor Hall was, I believe he was a first-round draft pick, drafted first overall, if I'm not mistaken. And Connor Bedard drafted first overall. So Taylor Hall would give him some of that veteran guidance right there as you pair him, Connor Bedard, Taylor Hall, or even put Connor Bedard at wing and Ryan Donato at center, because of course Ryan Donato, he leads the Blackhawks in goals. Connor Bedard leads the Blackhawks in assists and points. I feel like they can create good chemistry right there. She put Bedard at wing and Ryan Donato at center. I think I listened to the Chicago Sports podcast, or it was somewhere where I heard this from, where Connor Bedard was just doing terrible at being center, and so he had to be put at wing. And of course, we also saw him create good chemistry with Jason Dickinson. So I would probably say put him with Philip Kurashev or Taylor Hall, or possibly with Teo Teravainen, because I think at the first, like the early start of this season, we saw Bedard and Teravainen create good chemistry together. Why not put them back together? And you take a look at the Blackhawks defensive pairs, according to Daily Faceoff, is Alex Vlasic and Connor Murphy. And then second pair, Noah Allen and Alex Martinez, who is a game-time decision. Highly doubt that he's going to play in this game today against the New York Rangers. We'll just have to see. And then we got Wyatt Kaiser and TJ Brody. But Kevin Korchinski will probably take Alex Martinez's spots if he doesn't play, which I don't think he will, because he got injured in the game against the Winnipeg Jets. Is this a turning point for the Chicago Blackhawks? I see it as a turning point. I mean, they won't go on the same run that the St. Louis Blues had in 2019. They're not going to be a playoff team, but I see this as a turning point. Like, I believe it'll be a turning point. And Anders Sorensen, he has been doing great in Rockford. I mean, he's coached the Rockford Ice Hawks before coming to the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's been doing well in Rockford. So during his time in Rockford, he worked well with some of our top prospects like Landon Slaggert and Artem Leshnashov. And his coaching style and adaptability, highly detail-oriented, and he communicates well with his players, and understanding what they need, what their role is, and all that stuff. So I feel like he can be a solid, great coach. Like I mentioned already, he's doing good for Rockford. And Kyle Davidson, I listened to Kyle Davidson's press conference when Anders Sorensen was hired on the Chicago Sports Podcast. He also mentioned that he was doing good in Rockford, and he was a great coach, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But like I said, it was like time needed for a coaching change as well. So I feel like it could be a turning point for the Blackhawks. I mean, he can coach Connor Bedard well and have him understand his role of the game and stuff. So yes, I do see that's a turning point, but the team just has to show we got to be consistent on offense and defense. I know our defense is kind of weak as of right now. Now that Seth Jones and Alex Martinez is out with injury, so our defense is kind of weak. But that's still going to have to be structured. As for our offense, I don't think we have a bad offense. I believe we have a great top six, but we just been inconsistent, and we just need to get better overall and back up some wins, which is going to be tough. You should take a look at the Blackhawks' next 5 games. Of course, they're going to be playing today against the New York Rangers at MSG. Start of a 3-game road trip right there. And then they'll play Thursday, December 12th against the New York Islanders. Saturday, December 14th against the New Jersey Devils. That's going to be a tough matchup right there. It's also going to be an afternoon game on NHL Network as well. So that'll be part of the NHL Network showcase. And then Sunday, December 15th, back at it against the New York Islanders. And then Tuesday, December 17th against the Washington Capitals. So tough next 5 games. Of course, if you take a look, those are 2 really good teams that we're going to be playing against. I would say New York Rangers, but they're kind of struggling. But still a solid, good team nonetheless. So it's going to be tough against the Rangers. It's going to be tough against the Devils. And it's going to be tough against the Capitals. Islanders, of course, they're over the Blackhawks. Of course, the Blackhawks are last in the league. So, like I said, overall, it's just going to be tough. But I believe it will be a turning point with Anders Sorensen behind the bench. I feel like the guys can really get used to him, to his coaching style. I believe he'll do good with the Blackhawks. He'll have a good coaching record with the Blackhawks. I mean, he was doing good in Rockford, so he's bringing his skill and his I don't know what you call it. He's bringing his skill. He's bringing his mindset to be coaching the Chicago Blackhawks. So, yes, I see this as a turning point for Chicago.